Hell on Earth is a band from Tampa, Florida. Less known are they for their heavy metal and industrial rock music than they are for their blasphemous song titles like Ripping the Wings Off the Backs of Angels, Your Soul to Satan, Raped by the Virgin Mary, Baptized in Semen, and of course the unforgettable AIDS-infested Blood of Christ. Even more noteworthy are they for their stirring live performances, which have included blending rats and throwing the concoction at the crowd, intercourse with the decapitated head of a skinned calf, stunts involving breast milk and providing heroin injections to fans. They were more interested in shocking people to get attention, as opposed to being recognized for their music. And in fall 2003, Hell on Earth would get noticed by the BBC, MTV, Rolling Stone, among other outlets, but it wasn't for their brand new album, All Things Disturbingly Sassy. Instead, word spread that Hell on Earth would up the ante of their controversial live shows. In an email press release sent to news outlets by frontman Billy Turtellow, the band promised that their October 4th performance at the State Theater in St. Petersburg would include an on-stage suicide. Right from the get-go, this was assumed to be a publicity stunt. The State Theater's manager and owner, Dave Hundley, even told the Tampa Bay Times, "I'm assuming the suicide is a stunt, and it will be a great illusion. This is an era when entertainment is bizarre." However, as the October 4th date approached and the story continued to spread, concerns of the suicide being the real thing began to stir panic. On September 22nd, the St. Petersburg City Council scheduled an emergency meeting to discuss ways to block Hell on Earth's October 4th performance. The person to commit suicide was supposedly a terminally ill fan. In the email press release, Hell on Earth claimed it would use its concert as a platform to help make backstreet suicides a thing of the past. Not only that, but they said they would broadcast the suicide live on their website to raise awareness of right to die issues. By September 29th, the St. Petersburg City Council passed a law designed to scuttle this live suicide. The emergency ordinance was unanimously approved to make it illegal for a suicide to be conducted for commercial or entertainment purposes, which, of course, included hosting, promoting, or selling tickets to such an event. Senator Les Miller said in a May 2004 article from Tampa Bay Times, after this law was successfully upheld, "A lot of people would think that there were laws on the books to prevent this from happening, but there weren't." One of Hundley's reasons for thinking the suicide was a bluff, a form of guerrilla marketing, is because Turtellow told him, "Come on, do you really think we'll do it? It's like David Copperfield making the Statue of Liberty disappear." Despite this, Hundley eventually got worried when Turtellow started talking about some guy from Seattle who wanted to get in on the act. This resulted in Hundley complying with the ordinance and canceling Hell on Earth's scheduled appearance at the State Theater. Turtellow vowed that the concert and suicide would proceed, taking place at an undisclosed location in St. Petersburg. In the event the suicide took place, Turtellow would be arrested. However, Turtellow couldn't be arrested if police couldn't find him. Turtellow's whereabouts were unknown. He didn't appear in court to object to a judge banning his performance, nor could he be located at any of his goth or industrial nightclubs that he frequented. The only person who was able to get in touch with him was radio personality Bubba the Love Sponge. Turtellow called Bubba's show, claiming he wasn't hiding from anyone and wasn't afraid of being arrested.
If they want to spend and waste more of our taxpayers' money in St.
Petersburg for a lawsuit that's going to be bigger than anything they've seen on the planet,
and they want to fund the next Hell on Earth album,
then go for it. The lawsuit Turtellow referenced comes from an exclusive letter written to Bubba the Love Sponge, supposedly by the terminally ill fan who planned to commit suicide, saying, "I shall sue anyone who tries to revive me before my passing against my wishes. In closing,
I hope that everyone understands and respects my decision in the matter,
and hope one day that others in the same condition have a right to die with dignity." The program's producer, Brent Hatley, said that after the DJ tried to arrange an off-air conversation with the person planning to commit suicide, he started to suspect this was all a hoax. The suicidal fan was supposedly a member of the Euthanasia Society, but the organization was renamed Voluntary Euthanasia Society in 1969. Leaving out the word voluntary in the name could be an honest mistake, but then again, such an inaccuracy could be an indication of a fabrication. Keeping all of this in mind, we reach October 4th, the night of the performance, and more importantly, the suicide. And Hell on Earth's website server and backup host server were supposedly attacked.
This was not a typical hacker attack. It has been traced back to a corporation from Hong Kong. St. Petersburg City Councilman Bill Foster was on Fox News' Big Story shortly after our website went down. When asked about hellonearth.net being attacked and hacked that night, he was quoted as saying, "Let's just call it divine intervention that this ended up being stopped. I have to ask, why would anyone in Hong Kong care about a St. Petersburg concert? I also have to ask, did a phone call from Tallahassee to older brother or daddy orchestrate this attack?"
This is a bit unfair considering that the outage is equally convenient timing if this were all a hoax.
Entrepreneur and Evil Now's website operator, Sean Bugby, claimed that he had video footage of the suicide. Hell on Earth had ordered him not to sell it, but to make it available to everyone for free. However, as reported, he did not have any video footage of the suicide as he claimed in his press release.
It was also reported that the band's performance took place at a location separate from the suicide. The band asked fans to visit its webpage for the performance, but no video could be found. Since then, there's been very little mention of the event, or lack of event, if you will. Turtelot would attempt to remain relevant with a couple of stunts, such as crashing a council candidates forum at the St. Petersburg Yacht Club, but that was put to a quick end. The club apparently prevented him from speaking because he wasn't a qualified candidate, and if anyone wrote his name on the ballot, their vote would simply be discarded. In 2005, Hell on Earth protested a proposal which would fine performers $500 per obscenity during any concerts held at a city park. The band chose to be activists and carried signs outside of City Hall that read, "Don't rape our rights," and Turtelot dressed in a biblical garb, which included a barbed wire crown of thorns. Hell on Earth would go on 8 years without adding another album to their discography, but released Demon Alien Angels in 2011. Its product description reads,
14 years of research and conceptualization based on facts and international secrets. Billy, singer and songwriter for Hell on Earth, spent 2 years developing the songs and 3 years recording them. Simply put, every track is stunning as the listener proceeds through the album. Each song delivers catchy hooks and up to 3 messages, which may be interpreted differently from one listener to the next.
Did a Hell on Earth fan really commit suicide on the evening of October 4th? Was this person actually real? Could this just be a publicity stunt? This all remains conveniently unconfirmed, but allowing the facts that we are aware of to be our guide leads this story to be a likely hoax. While researching this mystery, I tried to go right to the source, contacting Hell on Earth directly. I got confirmation that they read my message, but after months of patiently waiting, they chose not to reply. Even without their confirmation, however, there's a lot to conclude that this was all a hoax. While I take comfort in the likelihood that nobody died during this event, it's a bit sad that a band feels the need to stir up controversy and be intentionally hated by others just so people are aware that their music exists. When I research topics, I do my best to remain neutral, and in doing so, I found that Hell on Earth's willingness to be hated for publicity was a very unfortunate thing because I listened to Hell on Earth's music, expecting nothing but childish lyrics and nonsensical instrumentation. And while their music wasn't completely devoid of either of those things, I found that Hell on Earth were actually a lot more thoughtful, talented, and controlled musicians than they marketed themselves as. In one aspect, their extreme antics were rewarded by getting the attention of BBC, MTV, and Rolling Stone. But I think they overestimated the public's curiosity in anything related to them outside of the controversy they had stirred. As such, their surprisingly decent music will forever be overshadowed by a bizarre mystery created over cheap media baiting.